Hey, what's up? It's Tony from Street Church, and welcome to the Inside Job podcast. You're going to love the title of this week's podcast. It's super catchy. The title is called The Inside Job. I just want to take a couple of minutes and talk about the crux of what this podcast is all about, our purpose for actually doing it. I'm a big believer that in order to be the salt and the light of the world that we are called to be. Remember, when Jesus said that, he said it in the greatest sermon of all time, the Sermon on the Mount. It wasn't called the Suggestions on the Mount. It was called the Sermon on the Mount. So in order to represent salt and light in the world around us, there has to be an inner work that we allow God to accomplish in our hearts and in our lives. There has to be an inside job stirring within us that ultimately leads to an exterior reality of change, right? Because if we're going to if there's going to be an external reality of becoming salt and light, that only occurs from an inward change that we allow to happen in our lives, right? And Jesus, in the book of Hebrews, it says something so hard for me to swallow sometimes. The creator and maker of the world, the savior of all mankind. This is what it says in the book of Hebrews. It says that he learned obedience through the things that he suffered. And, I've kind of figure if it's good for him, then it's good for me, right? Like if he had to endure and learn obedience and be shaped by the things he went through, then who am I to say, I'm good? No, right? John Maxwell has this quote. I think it was a book he wrote, and I love the title. It says, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Most people think sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but the truth is, those people who allow God to stir on the inside and to do an inside job that leads to an exterior reality of change have the mindset of sometimes you win, sometimes things are going good, and sometimes you learn. Sometimes things happen in our lives that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, and you become something new as a result of it. But you never become something new unless something old dies, right? There's never an exterior reality of change unless we allow God to do an inside job on the inside of our lives. A few months ago, we helped to put a man into a couple substance abuse recovery programs. And, the first time he did really well. And then he decided to leave. And he asked us if he could have another shot. We said, sure. And he went back and he ultimately, after just a couple of weeks, he got kicked out because of horrible behavior. So I get a call just the other day. Hey, do you think you can help me? I'm living in a motel and I want to go someplace. Is there any other place that you could help to put me into? So, I thought to myself, okay, I'll meet with the guy and, I'll assess him and see what he has to say. And then before he gets off the phone with me, he says, yeah, because I'm at a motel and my money is running out on me. And I thought to myself, wait up. What's his motivation? Is it because he's hungry for change? Is it because he wants to make a move? Or is it because he's running out of cash? Right? Because the truth always was, always is, and always will be this. If you're hungry, you'll eat. Only the hungry eat. Right? Only the hungry eat. Jesus said, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So in other words, blessed are those who hunger and hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. So in other words, the blessing is in the being hungry for change, being hungry for this inner work, being hungry to allow God to do this inner stirring, this inner work on the inside, this character change, this character growth, this learning of obedience, this inside out change that leads to an exterior reality of us actually becoming salt and light. So, that's what this podcast is all about. It's about keeping the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is this, that we were created to be salt and light in a dark world and impact the world around us. But that only happens if we allow God to do an inside job within our lives, within our hearts, within our minds, that leads to this external reality of being salt and light. So, one for the road. Okay, I'll give you an old Mae West quote. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Let's do it right. And remember, count each day a new life. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.